Thanks for joining Hoops Hitting Gym podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as usual. Man, we got a packed show tonight, some really good guests, and man, I'm so looking forward to this show. Before we get the show started, I want to go out there and congratulate Kristen Narcisse for picking up two big offers this weekend out of Lafayette, Louisiana. She recently picked up a offer from Coastal Carolina, and she will be announcing the other offer later on tonight, probably via Twitter. I got the cheat code, so I know what it is, but I'll let her make that offer because it's a really big one. Also, as well, I was all over the place this weekend. Again, I was at the Emory Elite Camp as well as the Clayton State Elite Camp. And shout out to both programs for running a high quality event. I look forward to doing some media stuff with you guys as usual next season. But tonight, man, I this right here it's huge because we have Coach Chelsea Hudson on tonight to lead off. And for people that don't understand, like she's the head coach now at Panola Community College, but she was a part of something historic where she won the JUCO National Championship for women, the JUCO D1, I might add. And she did it at Tyler Community College. And it was a big deal because the whole staff is African American women. And first of all, congratulations to that right there. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, listen, once we linked up, this was a long time coming. And, when you got the head coaching job, I was like, oh my gosh, congratulations. This is something
Yes.
huge for you to run your own show. And you were well deserving of it as well, because, you're one of those quality coaches. And I'm sure, Panola's going to be in the right direction under your tutelage as well.
I hope so.
Let me ask this: when do you guys start school? You guys are getting ready to start, right?
Yes, my young ladies get here on Saturday. School starts on the 17th.
Okay, okay. And so, for people that don't know about Panola, what region do you play in?
Panola College is in Region 14. I'm a little biased. I've
That's
been in Region
that's a tough
14,
one there. Yeah.
yeah, for 3 years, and I would say I believe we are the toughest and the best region there is in junior college basketball for the
And
women. I
so,
know.
for the people that are not aware, what colleges are in Region 14?
In Region 14, we have Angelina, Tyler, Kilgore, Coastal Bend, Trinity Valley, Paris. Am I missing someone? I feel Jacksonville is
Jacksonville.
tough, and
Uh-huh.
Blinn down in the Houston area. So we have
Hmm.
a crazy night of about 14 games of grueling basketball night in and night out.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on that. But in playing in that region, that also prepares you for postseason as well.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. I don't think we would be any team in our conference could neglect the fact that we're not battle tested once we get to nationals. For
Absolutely.
sure. We happen to
Absolutely.
lose a team in Bossier. They just, got rid of their program. But even
Yes.
that program, what Stephanie Williams did there, and she's bringing it over to Kilgore, it's just,
Yes.
again, night in and night out. You are battle tested for conference. So you're non-conference. You're like, let's be tricky about this because you got to get a preseason that prepares you for conference, but get some wins under your belt, get some confidence going into conference as well.
And I'm glad you brought that up because your non-conference, even before that, you do some of the really good JUCO jamborees as well.
Absolutely. I know we have Texas Association of Basketball Coaches, um, SW ran by Trina. You also have Neely. So
Neely's
you
is in
have some.
Mansfield, right?
Hmm. So
Yeah.
you have some grueling basketball from the very beginning.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree. That Mansfield one, I actually will be at that one.
Yay!
So we'll get to see each other there, and there's so many quality teams at that one. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That thing, oof, that'll battle test you right there in itself.
From the very beginning.
Yeah, and straight into the region play from there. So non-conference, who do you play non-conference?
This season we have Temple, Murray State. It's crazy that I'm opening up with one of my first basketball coaches ever, Ron Jones over at Midland,
Oh yeah,
Lenore
Midland's
Region
good too.
5.
Yes.
Yes. So growing up, I watched him for years. So I think it's full circle that that's my very first head coaching game is against Ron.
Okay.
But we have Hill. We again Region 5 battle testing us with Murray. Um, Grayson,
Mhm.
Cisco. So we have some pretty solid non-conference teams
Okay.
to prepare us.
Okay. So a JUCO, a life in the day in the JUCO land. How are your athletes going? Are they going to have morning practice and then go to class? How are you going to have it set up?
So we will definitely have class in the morning. We've done a good job. Shout out to my assistant, Alyssa Mayfield. No 8 o'clocks this year. For the most part, we have two early classes. But other than that, we're in class most of the morning. Practice normally is we're in the main gym during volleyball season, 1 to 3 in the practice gym, one
Hmm.
to three, sorry, in the main gym, 4 to 6. So, but once October hits and we get started in our regular season, then we'll open up with weights about 1 to 2, and then practice about 2 to 3, 2 to 3:35, 4. Around that time, then you go get some food, you recover, probably eat right after that, and then we're right into it into study hall, and then 9 times out of 10, that's when extra shooting comes right after that. If that's
Gotcha.
usually
Okay.
a day in the life of a Panola Philly.
Oh, wow. Hey, that's a full schedule right there.
Yes.
So let me ask this. So for people that are considering Panola, what is Panola known for their associates rather? So if I was going to come
um
to Panola, what would be some good programs that Panola has?
Our rodeo team, I would like to say I'm biased that all of our teams are amazing. Nicole McCray with volleyball, Todd Shelton, Jeff Collins with rodeo and baseball, but also Mike Nesbitt, who just recently got the men heads coaching job here at Panola. Excited to watch him play. But those are our sports. Our band, our dancers are also known as well. But you're gonna come to Panola and you're gonna feel home. I think that's the
Okay.
one thing that we have. It's not me selling Carthage. Carthage is small but mighty in its love. So I definitely would say you coming home to
Okay.
Panola when you come here.
Okay. And academically, what programs are Panola known for academically?
Nursing will be
Okay.
one of our top programs here at Panola. We just really tapped into our cybersecurity, but just
Nice.
also agriculture as well. You get into your rodeo, more some of your engineering, more mechanical items with the different campuses, the Marshall campus center, different locations we have.
Okay. Okay. So I know you like to get out and recruit. I know you recruit Texas. I know you recruit a little bit of Louisiana and Oklahoma as well. When you are out there looking at these kids, because I think this is important for these parents that watch this show, what are you looking for when you're looking for a recruit? We're not even talking, of course, everybody needs a big, but just the small things that will catch your attention to say, this person may be a Panola recruit possible.
The first would have to be a motor. You
Okay.
got to be able to get up and down. A lot of times, the speed of the game, as you just progressively get older, gets faster, and I don't think as many young ladies can adapt to that as necessary. Coachability, if you're coachable, that's not only from your coaching staff, but if a teammate says something to you or gets onto you, are you coachable? Do you really just have kind of, I call it dog? You got to have a little bit of dog in you, and that's not necessarily just scoring, but also in in pursuing the basketball. I want to guard the best person. Excited about giving a great pass to a teammate. The little intangible things. I do think passing is an art that many have gotten away from. I think a lot of times these bad shots we're seeing from recruits is because they don't know what else to do, or they don't know how to make a pass to a teammate. So we have bad shot selection, which tends to kind of cancel you out depending on the level. And mine is how are you mentally? I like to come watch different games. I won't sign you off for just one game, but your best game, your worst game. How are you mentally? Are you the same kid when you're scoring, when you're not, when you can't make a free throw, or you just can't get out of your own way? How mentally tough are you? Because I believe at the junior college level, you got to kind of have a different type of mindset at this level. So those are some things I look for, other than
Okay.
you be able to get a bucket. That's
And now I'm glad you just said that. So yes, being able to get a bucket, but as we know, everybody can't score 10, 15, 20 a night. So it's also important that you're looking for some of those role players as well, correct?
correct. Correct.
Okay.
Can't have too
And when
many
you
chiefs.
go, oh yeah, absolutely. So when those role players, when we say role player, define a role player for Panola rap.
A role player, I think one of my most important role players will be my lockdown defender. Your role is to
Mhm.
stop. I believe in this region we have some of the best guards on the planet, honestly, coming from God knows where. So being able to say, you know what, my role is to set my team up for success in the way I guard their best player who averages 25, let me keep them to 10, 11, or
Mhm.
make every single shot tough. Also a rebounder who's gonna go just be a dog. That doesn't mean you have to be tall. I've experienced one of the best defender. I'm sorry, rebounders ever, Debbie Ogami, and the kid is 5'9". She just had a heart to go get the basketball. Literally averaged a double double simply because of rebound putbacks, but also got us
Wow.
extra possessions. Screeners are important in this day and age.
Mhm.
So that's good, and just also utility workers. How many touches and deflections can you get on the ball? Your role might be, tips, deflection, charges, diving on the floor, hype man. There are a lot of different roles. You might be more of a practice player for us as you learn and grow. Get your teammates who play before you better every single night. That's the role that our entire team should be able to have. So those are just some of the roles that I expect and want in my player.
I like that. I definitely like that. How big are you on skill development?
We will spend a lot of time. I think that's something, again, at the junior college level. I have my babies for about 8 months. There are way more restrictions. We go home at Christmas. We don't really get summer school, all programs. So you really are getting them from August to about March, and you have to lock in quickly. So being able to do a lot of different things pretty well and decently, going motionless or positionless basketball. Everyone needs to be able to dribble. Everyone needs to be able to shoot. Everyone should be able to make the right pass, the right reads. So developing the skills and then putting them in position instead of developing the plays to fit them. You kind of try to work on their skill set. That way, multiple people can come off of a screen and make the right pass or roll the right way and make the right decision. Having handles, having passing, seeing the floor, that type of thing.
Okay. Okay, I like that. And so quick education for people that don't know. Panola is JUCO D1, which means you do offer full scholarships, correct?
Yes, we at Panola, we get 12 full rides a year.
Okay. Now,
Everything's paid for. You come for free.
I remember that when I come, because when I come,
Yes,
like you said, everything is paid
I
for.
got you. I got some food and stuff for you too. Come on, yours is different.
Okay. So let me ask this. Do you also redshirt as well? Or do you plan
Medical
on
red
redshirting?
shirts. More so for injury. Again, I think if you come here, my sole purpose, first and foremost, is to graduate you. I
Yes,
love young ladies who come in with dual credit hours. You come in
yes,
with 15 to 20 hours. So then I'm looking at them for possibly just a year instead of the normal 2 years, because
correct.
I don't want to sit you here for my selfish gain. If you can come and work not only on the floor but in the classroom to get moving, then you're pushed out of here as well. And I
Okay.
just think, coming in and getting your hours and preparing you academically as well for the next step is just as important as it is for the basketball.
And you already like I said, with you coming from Tyler and Midland, and with the resume that you have, you've already built up those connections of the 4-year coaches. And one of the biggest things is you also have connections to the D2s and NAIs, because as we all know, every young lady is not Division 1, and that's fine. So you do promote those young ladies to those levels too as well, correct?
Correct. I think some of the brightest brains, NAIA, D2, D3.
Yes.
So those are some of the smartest brains as well. I think one thing I can honestly say, a lot of people can coach, you know, when you have a bunch more talent, but I think it takes a special person to not only coach, but you might have to drive the bus. You might have to wash the clothes and sweep the floor. You have a two-man staff and not a eight-man staff. I don't think everyone can coach or play at the JUCO level. So I'm thankful for the people and the connections I've made, the stops I've had in Tennessee, the roots in Georgia, Florida, more of my southern states, more so. But I'm very thankful for those individuals who come to the gym and understand the work that my kids will put in and night out, for sure. So I
Absolutely.
want them to get to the right fit. Um, them signing doesn't get me more on my check. So I'm not pushing all my kids to D1, because not all of them are D1 caliber, or just would be better
Right.
off being a bigger fish in a smaller pond. Better academically, the region, the economic status, where is it? That's important whenever I push kids or support them as they decide, rather, where it is that they want to go.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I'm a big advocate for all levels, whether it's D2, D3, NAI, whatever the case. It, like you just said, it's about the fit, and it's also about going to school and being able to get that bachelor's as well.
Right.
Sometimes in some cases, hopefully, the graduate degree if they want to get the master's, depending on what field they want to enter. But as we all know, the ball's going to stop bouncing in due time. And then it's okay. Some people, this has been their life for the past 18, 20 years. What do you do now?
Mhm.
And
Right.
they're lost sometimes. And I think, as a whole basketball community, we want to do better at preparing them, for life after basketball. And that's the biggest thing as well. Whether they want to go into coaching, whether they want to be a nurse or a doctor, or, go into IT, like you said, with cybersecurity, those are all great fields and very lucrative. And, I myself, I'm in the IT field. So, I always
Okay.
preach to people, yes, I do this, but I also have an IT job as well outside of sports. So, it's always bigger than basketball. Like I said, you can make a great living off of basketball. There's no question about that. But also just have options just in case you need to. And, I couldn't agree with you more on the path that you're setting these young ladies. Now, for this year, roster
Mhm.
wise, what we looking like? Somebody, little birdie was telling me you got a little stick out there. You gonna surprise some folks.
That is the plan. When you come watch the Hudson era of the Panola Phillies, I want us to get up and down and play. I want you to enjoy watching this positionless basketball. Not as fast, maybe, as I want to be in my
Okay.
first year, but we will definitely work hard. We have size. We have some transfers. Gianna Carr coming from Tennessee State University, Emily
Okay.
Mandamin, returners Tanaya Allen, Sharia Lyric, and then just going to get some incoming freshmen that are just really ready to work. Savannah Velasquez. Super excited. Avery Young, Kayla Webster. Just super excited for um, our young ladies who I think are just as excited to just come in. I am a true believer in, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So we I think we're partial transfer. So coming in, may have not had the best experience or just want a little bit more, or a little bit more hungry. So you will see us fight day in and day out this year for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Okay. And we talked about the schedule, we talked about the roster, we talked about placement as well. We talked about, what you look for in, potential Panola young ladies in the future. Let me ask this. I know the goal is, Region 14 is a killer. Everybody knows that. Region 14 is it's tough, and everybody can't come out of Region 14. So, I look at it like this. With this being your first year, I know the goal is to get to the tournament because Region 14 puts, is it 3 or 4 pretty much every year?
Depending, normally two.
Okay.
Sometimes we could get three in. Again, I think our region is respected last year, or in my past, I've seen two to three teams go every year that I've been in junior college. Three
Okay.
from Region 14. So the goal is to win Region 14, the tournament to just outright secure my spot. So I'm not having a dogfight or wait until bidding. That is the goal, and then to go on and win a national title. Why not? Why not us? It's just something I
Absolutely.
talk about. Oh, you're going to play for a first year coach, or you're not this or this, that, and the third. I just think with this team, like, why not us? So I'm excited
I
to
agree.
to
I
to fight
agree.
for
I
those
mean,
goals.
and they can turn right around and say, yeah, you're playing for a first year coach, but that first year coach got a ring too. She got a ring.
I can't wait to play. You'll see me winning for a couple games for sure, but I definitely would love to bring one home. Shout out to my Tyler community and Trina, Tillis Hort and Bree Brooks over there, my coworkers and my team there. But I would love to definitely get one to the people of Carthage in the community. Our football team is amazing.
Mhm.
Carthage Bulldogs here, so I'm trying to sneak in there and get some Panola Philly winning tradition going. Not that we haven't won. Again, shout out to Alex Burr, the previous coach before me, who did an amazing job and is doing an amazing job at North Texas currently. But
Yes. Hmm.
I'm excited to even follow behind some great footsteps and coach against some of the best in the business in this region. And I'm excited. I'm excited for that too. That is something I'm super excited for.
This is my thing. I look at it like this. You're in one of the best regions, and there's no argument about that. And I say this: iron sharpens irons from a coach's perspective. There's a bunch of great coaches in that region. I mean, pretty
Yes.
much I know the majority of those coaches in the whole region, and a number of them have already been on the show already. So I know
Yes.
what you get ready to go up
Yes.
against. But
Yes. Yes.
you're going to be fine. I know you're going to be fine. And you know, Coach Trina, what you guys did over there was amazing. And it's your time now. It's definitely your time to make your own brand and get out there and put Panola on the map.
On the map. Thank you. That's the goal. That is the absolute goal. Yes. That is the goal.
Now, and I always ask this because I'm an advocate of defense as well.
Hmm.
How important is it for a young lady to come to Panola and know the defensive shell drill?
We gonna have to get after it. You gonna have to play defense. We're gonna have to switch. I need you to be faster, stronger, bigger. Because the better and more well-rounded you are defensively, the more me and again Coach Alyssa Mayfield can scheme and work to
Hmm.
put you in better positions. And being not being able to be scouted is important. So the
Yes.
better you are defensively, the more we can scheme and play around some things where you can trap, ice ball screens, run and jump, press. zones, that's important, but also just locking down one-on-one, mano-a-mano basketball where I don't need help. And he seems to
I
have
agree.
us. So yes, that is important to play for me.
And not only play for you, but when they move on to the whatever next level they go to, that's what's going to get them on the floor as well as keep them on the floor. It's one thing
Correct.
to get on the floor, but it's also another thing to stay on the floor as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I couldn't agree with you more. What type of offense do you run?
Motion more so again. I think the easiest thing, just in junior college here is just more, get out and transition first. That's what I want to do. If I could have to call no plays, again, learning under Coach Horde, just triangle offense, you always have action and distraction. So
Mm,
just playing on working triangle stuff, things you just have there, 4 out, 1 in. Some of the great minds like Ty Evans over at Tennessee State definitely will be
mm,
taking some of his stuff, possible some quick hitters, but just being able to allow my kids, not teaching them plays, but
mm.
teaching them how to play basketball. So someone dribble at you, going back door, you rising up the lane. It just becomes second nature more so,
Okay,
so that they're playing and they're thinking and moving and flying around. That then leads to better defensive scheming for us.
definitely. Listen, Coach, I can't wait to see you guys play up in Mansfield. I can't wait to see you get out there for the first time as a head coach as well. I know you're
Yeah.
going to do big things there. And, once you come on the show, you consider family. And this won't be the last time you
Yay!
come on, okay?
Let me know. I need you to be rocking your Panola green.
Send me a shirt. Send
I
me a
got
shirt.
you. I got you. I
Look,
really, for real, I got you.
when I get to Mansfield, have my shirt.
Have it ready, okay?
Okay. Listen, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on. I
you.
can't wait to see what you guys do out there, and we'll be in touch. I know we'll be in touch some more because I need to talk to you about a potential.
I know Carissa got some offers, but I saw her play over at Lafayette. So, Panola College is here for you as well. I heard that at the beginning of the show. Yeah, young lady,
Uh,
I've watched you since last year, so keep it up.
yeah, she can play. She can definitely go. She's a bucket, as you say.
Yes,
She's a bucket,
yes,
no question. She is
yes,
definitely a bucket. But
yes.
yeah, I definitely need to talk to you like soon. Let's just put it
So,
like that.
okay. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, you take care, Coach Hudson, and we're gonna be talking
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay. All
Yes,
right. You
sir.
take care.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Listen, I I can't wait to see what she does at Panola. I'm telling you, she's going to bring even more excitement to Region 14. It's already a gauntlet, and they got another quality coach that. To me, I look at Region 14. I almost want to call it the ACC of basketball because they have some really, really good coaches. The next guest coming up, man, we've been trying to get this together for a minute, and I'm so glad I got him on the show. Um, he was a coach at my alma mater, and we linked up and we talked, and he was blessed enough to move on to another great position as well. We're going to talk about that. We got Coach Walt Offutt. How you doing today, brother?
How you doing, man? Hey, good to
Man,
we finally caught each other at the right time,
I
right?
know, man. We
Yeah,
caught each other, man. But you
yeah,
know what,
yeah,
man? In this type of environment, people always have to be patient because, man, as you know, in basketball, so many things happen. People's schedules happen.
yeah.
You had a job change, and that's just the lay of the land for this. But we caught each other. We talked, through text on a regular basis. We talk about players. We talk about certain things, and it's finally good to have you on, man. And man, I want you to let everybody know about Illinois State because a lot of people don't know about the Redbirds, man. Tell me about Illinois State, man.
Well, it's a really good job, man. I think a lot of people in our industry and in our business will say that it's one of the better jobs. It's not the best job in the Missouri Valley.
Okay.
And obviously I was blessed to come here with my guy and mentor Ryan Peaton, who got the job from Ohio State. He was
Mm-hmm.
at Ohio State for the past 5 years under
Mm-hmm.
Chris Holtman. So When he got the job, it was without question, not without question, I was gonna come with them, man. I was gonna come with them, and we're gonna help build this thing and get it back to get Illinois State basketball back to where it needs to be, man. But it's a great job. It's in a great location in Bloomington, Illinois. We're in a lot of pockets and breadbasket, we like to call it. Of we can get to Indianapolis fairly quick. Obviously, Chicago, obviously Wisconsin, obviously St.
Mhm.
Louis, and just that whole just region of just high quality basketball, man. I couldn't be happy enough to be here, man. I'm really excited about changing this program and getting it back to where it needs to be.
Listen, and man, that Missouri Valley Conference, man, for people to understand, yes, it's mid-major, but I like to say Missouri Valley's mid-major plus because they
It's
got
a
some teams and players.
it's a big time league, and it's you know what, and throughout college basketball, obviously, I played at Ohio University in the MAC, and
Yes, sir.
it's Missouri Valley is it's a I like to tell recruits, I'm not saying we're high major, but we ain't far from it, right?
Mhm.
That's the kind of the slogan I like to use, and I think on any given year, I think that in our league and a team or two or even three or four teams, I think on every given year can compete in the NCAA tournament and win multiple games in the tournament. So
Mhm.
obviously Loyola Chicago was that the last couple years.
Yeah.
And obviously they're headed to the A10, but it's a really, really good league, man. And I think from top to bottom, I think it's really, really good. And that's the separator for us. It's not just a couple teams,
Mhm.
really multiple teams in our league that can really do damage.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And that's why I said that mid-major plus, like you said, right there. And then, the teams, what Southern Illinois is in Missouri Valley too, right?
Yep. That's
And
just SIU and Drake
yeah,
uh, and Bradley and obviously Loyola Chicago's leaving, and you got
mhm.
Missouri State, but also the teams coming in: Belmont, Murray State,
Yes,
adding
sir.
UIC to the mix, keeping that Chicago, in terms of our region and keeping that Chicago-based team. So it's
Mhm.
a really really good league, man. It's a really really good league with a lot of really really good coaches.
You hit it right on the head, man. Man, we want to jump right into it, man. What do you got? We'll talk roster. What do you guys coming? What do you got for this year?
Well, when you get a job, especially with the landscape you're in now, man, and I'm sure it's like this for across the board in Division One athletics and in every league, you have a lot of roster turnover, right? And
Yes.
especially with a coaching change, as you know, so we had to kind of do some recruiting on two ends. One, to recruit some of our guys that we wanted back on our team, right? We had to
Mhm.
kind of convince them and convince their families and them as players, like, hey, we can help you grow, right? We can help you grow as people. We can help you grow as a student, and we can help you grow as a player, right? And those couple things. But I think, like I said, we had to recruit our guys that were on the team, recruit them back. But then we had the guys that were leaving and guys that did leave to go to the different programs and maybe wasn't a fit. Maybe they wanted to go somewhere else, which was fine on our part. We wanted the guys that we want guys that want to be on our team and want to be a part of our university and all that stuff, man. But with that being said, we also had to recruit right transfers, right, and with the changing landscape, man. So we brought in six guys. We brought in some guys in some different backgrounds, man. We brought in a couple. This one kid, Malachi, what was a guy that earned playing time towards the end of his career at Virginia, and he's on our team now. Malachi Poindexter, he's really really good. Came from Virginia. We got a local kid, Colton Sandage, from Bloomington, Illinois, who's really really good. Who's going to be a member of our team. We had a kid, Darius Burford, from Bolingbrook, Illinois, which is right up the road. And then we we recruited Luke Kazuki, which came from Kansas State. We got Seneca Knight, who came from BYU. We got another grad transfer, Joe Petrakis, who came from Western Carolina. So we mixed it all around. So you mix those guys that's obviously coming into our program with guys that we also have that stick with it, that stay with us, man. So I think we did a great job in the transfer portal. For one, recruiting the transfers that we wanted to be a part of our team, but two, I think we kept guys that was on the team currently that are going to be great fit for us, man. And I can't be excited enough to see kind of what we do this year and the growth of this program from year one and beyond.
Now, and you know, a lot of times, like you said, from year one, it's growth every year, and we like to use a term down here in Georgia that 1% better every day. You know what I mean?
1% better. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And so, for Illinois State, man, I know you're trying to build something big there, but just a side note, what if I'm a student at Illinois State? What is Illinois State known for academically?
You know what? We got a really, really good business school.
Okay.
If you told me you had a Walt pick one thing that Illinois State's known for is business. State Farm, the State Farm business and State Farm, the insurance company is located in Bloomington, Illinois. It's
Okay.
the headquarters. I don't know if people know that, but it's the
Wow. I didn't
headquarters.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have the big buildings and stuff, and a lot of employees. It's the headquarters. So with that being said, they partner with our business school, and that's kind of like that's the thing that we're really, really known for.
Okay.
But I would say Illinois State in general, I think and obviously I use this metric just because it's where I played at, but it's very, very similar to where I played at Ohio University, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Illinois State has a great campus. It has a great, it has a great fan base, a great following, and throughout the pandemic, a lot of schools enrollments were going down. With the pandemic and everything, hurt a lot of schools on that side of things. But our Illinois State kind of remained level or going up in enrollment, and that speaks to the value of our university, our leaders, our president, our administration in terms of where Illinois State is and where it's headed. And I think that it's phenomenal, a phenomenal college town, phenomenal college campus, and it's great, man. It's a really, really great university that, what I'm learning is too, like, is a lot of the kids that we're recruiting, especially in Illinois and in the Chicago area and across Illinois in general, a lot of their parents went to Illinois State,
Wow.
which is huge, right? In recruiting, right? When you can say like, hey, hey, your parents went here, or you got a family tradition of being at Illinois State.
Mhm.
That's volumes in recruiting now, and I can't speak on the kid that we just got committed, but that was a big part. That was a big part of his commitment. To Illinois State, and obviously we'll speak on that. When we're allowed to comment on them publicly, we'll allow our head coach to comment on the kid, but we can't be excited enough to have him and his family and even other people's families been reaching out to us as and how excited they are to see Coach Ryan Peden and our staff do work in Missouri Valley and do work across the state of Illinois.
Okay. Okay. Now, I know you guys are all over the place. When it's big time basketball, of course, you're at, a lot of the shoe events, you're at a lot of the independent events as well. Man, what are you looking for outside of, of course, you're going to have certain needs, whether you need a big or you need a point guard. But what is it that makes that person a Illinois State basketball player?
Well, I think the first thing is I think different teams and different programs have different philosophies as far as how they recruit and how they do things, right? But I think, first off, what I'm looking at first in a player is talent wise. Let's not kid ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Talent is what brings, guys a game or to, college coaches the games, right? And I'm not naive to the point there where if you can put the ball in the basket, well, I'm gonna look at that kid a little bit more. That's just what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I think from there though is where it gets, it starts to dive in more to what the particular school is looking at. Like for us, Illinois State, we're looking for a program guy, a culture guy, the guy that's a guy that's about the right things on and off the court, not just about basketball, right? And I'm not just saying that as a cliche, but that's really how our head coach Ryan Peden speaks about our program and how he wants our program to be remembered by, and remember, in the years to come. And I think, hitting on the culture piece is really, really important. I think, because a lot of the games, as I learned, my playing career at Ohio State and at Ohio University, and being in my background at different places at Toledo last year. But you know, a lot of the games are won and lost, you know, by a couple points, the
Mm-hmm.
last couple minutes of the game, and it's details. A lot of it's details oriented, and I think you know, depending on what you let go on in your program, whether that's, you know, I don't know, it could be for us, it's small things, right? And that's where we're really preaching to our guys right now, and preaching to our recruits is we're going to find every little detail, whether it's on the court, whether it's off the court, and get you better in those things. That's why I said early on when we first had me on, what we're telling about Illinois State, and I said, hey, we're going to develop you as people, we're going to develop you as a student, and we're going to develop you as a player, right? And no, no in that order. And I think that speaks volume of who we are as people, and that we don't want it to be just about ball. We want to have that that overall aspect of it as a as a player. We want to, and that's the type of guys we're going to win with, man. And that's kind of how we're going to recruit. Um, and that's what's going Illinois State basketball is going to be about.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because, I'm a big skill development guy. Of course, I know you want somebody that's ready to plug and play, but especially a kid coming from high school, that's not the case. And even
Yeah,
a JUCO kid that's coming to 4 year, it's still an adjustment of he got to still develop and sharpen his game as well. So, being at Illinois State, talk a little bit about the development piece. I think that's so important for people to understand that you just don't come here and you're going to be that guy. You have to hone your skills. And with Illinois State and with the development you guys have, what is it that you guys believe in developing? We all know every kid they need different development parts. I understand
yeah.
that. But what's the motto, so to speak, to develop that kid into a big time player and to be able to contribute rather?
That's a great question, man. I think a lot of and a lot of families, we get asked this a lot about what makes your school different, right? And I think to hit on that, I think one is we don't do cutter workouts, which meaning for example, we don't put the 4 or 5 guards together at a time and say this is your workout.
Yeah.
And it's a time and place for that during practice when you don't have a lot of time, or sometimes individually if the head coach wants to do something or work on something in particular. But every player is different, right? Every person and player needs different needs. Some guy needs to work on his jump shot. Some guys need to work on his back to the basket game, his post ups. Some guys need to work on his driving. So we really dive into that, and we do individual workouts a lot. Now it may take time for your assistant coaches, right, to have a few guys on kind of their position group, and you got a 45-minute workout, back to back to back to back, right, throughout the day. That can be very time consuming at times, right? Because we
Mhm.
got a lot of stuff to do. We got recruiting to do. We're going on the road. We're traveling. We got different meetings. We got to meet with academics. All this stuff you got to do. But that's what makes. I think that's what separates. Us and some of the things we do is individual approach, right? We're going to work with you on your individual game, what you need to get better at. We're going to break down your stats from the previous year. On
Mhm.
synergy, we're going to look at, hey, you were bad at this area, or you need to improve in this area, and we're going to work on getting that and getting you better in that area. And also, with the NBA stuff, and obviously guys are putting their name in the draft and getting feedback. If you're one of those guys that are getting feedback, hey, they say, yeah, you need to work in this area. Well, we're going to work to get you better in that area. And the
Mhm.
same goes for strength and conditioning in the weight room as well.
Yes.
Right? Some guys
Yes.
are gain guys, we call them. They got to get bigger. Some guys are maintain guys. You just got to maintain and tone up. Some guys are lose weight wise, right? And you got to lose weight and eat wise and eat better and all those things. So we break it down in all those fronts, from the basketball front and on the strength conditioning point, and nutrition point, which that kind of ties into the strength conditioning as well. But those things we really at Illinois State we really try to focus on and get better with.
That's great right there because you just touched, for me, skill development is huge, but also one of the big pieces, man, that strength and conditioning. A lot of people don't understand how important that is. And then you
No
mentioned
question.
nutrition as well, man. I mean, that's big, man. And you know, and I know you're at Illinois State, just coming from Toledo, I know the strength and conditioning guy was great there as well. And, I know at Illinois State, that's going to be something you guys are preaching continuously, especially having that Ohio State background, because that that whole strength and conditioning was next level there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
there's levels
Yeah.
to some of that
Yeah.
strength and
No
conditioning,
question.
and seeing that, I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I see why they're Ohio State, because sometimes it's just the money invested in some of that stuff. And then you have some of the A1 strength and conditioning guys, some of the A1 nutrition people as well. And just coming off of that real quick, I'm big on education as well. What does it take to get into Illinois State to get accepted? Let's just start there.
In terms of what, education wise?
GPA wise, I'm sorry, GPA wise, yes.
Well, you got to meet the NCAA standards, right? And I think it's, that's the game. The game has changed as far as that, right? I don't know if you remember a couple years ago when they had the NCAA basically, relax some of the standards, right?
Yes.
And it was difficult at times, right? Because sometimes what you had was on the one side, the school academically has its own standards, right? And
Yes.
then the NCAA has its standards, right? So at
Mhm.
sometimes that kind of, that would, they kind of butt heads a little bit at times.
Yes.
And the NCAA changed it to where, you don't necessarily need the SAT or ACT score to necessarily, to be accepted in, but, the school may need it. So it's, it ties into itself. It's kind of a weird question in terms of what exactly do you need, but just the NCAA, just the NCAA standards in terms of what you need, man, is what you have to get in with,
Okay.
and it's what, it's changed, man. Like, and back in the day, it was a sliding scale, right, where your
Yeah.
GPA had to meet, right. If the lower your GPA was, the higher your
The
SAT
test
and
score.
ACT
Yes.
score has to be, right. And the higher it was, the lower your ACT score, or SAT or ACT score can be. But now they kind of leveled it out to where it's, you just got to have, quality GPA, man, and requirements to get in.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And so, we touched on a couple things already. We touched on what you look for or Illinois State. We touched on the importance of skill development. We touched on, what the expectations are for Illinois State this year. And man, I always get into this because I think people have such the misconception, the importance of defense, man. I mean, everybody can't put up 25 or 30. You're not going to have five guys that put up 20 a game. If you do, you're going to be
Mhm.
insanely good. And it just doesn't happen when you have five guys that average 20 points. So you're going to have to have those role players, and you're going to have those lockdown people, as we say. And those are the guys that are going to stay on the floor, whether you're averaging 20 or not, and you're a bucket, you got to be able to stop people as well.
Build a
So
guard.
let me ask this, are you guys more of a man, or do you kind of switch it up to go man zone? Let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously this is our first year together as a staff. So
Yes.
obviously that's gonna, our head coach, Coach Ryan P is we're gonna be figuring it out, as we getting towards fall practice and workouts. But I think mostly man to man is what they, what they hung their hats on at Ohio State. Now we'll probably have some mix up changing defenses at times, but at the end of the day, our base defense is going to be straight up, man on man, man on man. You got to lock up, you got to guard your guy, and you got to compete.
Absolutely. And the importance of talking on defense, because even with man on man, you got to be able to call out the screens. You got to be, you got to be able to talk on the help side. I got help, I got help, I got help, because at the end of the day, if you just out there not talking, you get picked apart like that, man. And we all know the importance of communication, basically, not just on offense, but on defense as well. And you know, I bring this up for everybody. It's those small principles, that people have to understand, whether you're deflecting passes in the lane, whether you know how to take a charge, are you boxing out, those are like the commandments. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows those commandments that you have to do certain things to win the game. You know, yes, you have to be able to stop. Yes, you need to know how to slide your feet to cut off baseline. You need to know how, basically, in so many words, it's that film work to understand, players' tendencies on the other team. Because, when you have that all Missouri Valley guy, you have to watch film to find. And sometimes it takes a while, even as a coaching staff, to say, you know what, he has a tendency to do this, and he gives it away. And he's really good at it, the mass doing X, Y, and Z. But it takes a coach like yourself with a sharp eye to see, you know what, we need to stop this guy from doing this because this is his go-to move. And when he gets to his go-to move, he's very hard to stop. Now, when we force him into what he's uncomfortable, at least he's not as effective. And that's when the stats guys come in and say, yeah, when he does it, when he spins this way, he's not 50%, he's maybe 35%. So you hone in on those things. And of course, that's what you and your head coach and the rest of the staff, that's your job to do that. But then it's also your job to pass that on to the guys. And when people understand how important the practice players are, because you like to make those players, the dummy players, to act as those players as well. And people don't understand how big that is to make a successful program.
Yeah, no question, man. That's exactly right, man. And we spend a ton of time watching film, right? I think a lot of, obviously, a lot of people outside of basketball when they're just watching, right? They're watching from their living room, couch or whatever. They think, that we don't work at this. But yeah, man, that's honestly, film study and working on those things day in and day out is really huge, man. I think, you know, this year especially is really huge for us, and that what all you just said, because it's our first year, right? Because all
Yes.
the terminology, the vocab of different things. They may, a lot of our guys, right? They're transfers and they're older guys. We technically don't have a freshman or sophomore on our roster, but they know different calls and things. But maybe they at the last place they've been at, and their last coach, they called it different than what we're going to call it. Right. So terminology and the vocab of everything you do is really important. And that's why it's going to be really, really huge for us really to hone in on those things and really to focus on those things on a daily basis for our scouting, preparation, and also learning the teams in our conference, right? This is
Yes.
we at Toledo, we played against a couple teams in the Missouri Valley, and we know some of the coaches, right? And Coach Pete and our staff, we know some of the coaches in the league and some of the teams, but we really haven't watched them, right, in detail, right? So that's something we're actually going to do in the off season. We're going to take some of those guys, take up a couple teams and divide them up and watch them, right? What are these teams good at? What are they known for, right? What players are back? We got to get used to those days, because obviously at your last place, if you've been at a place for 3 or 4 years already, you know exactly how the other team's going to play, exactly how they're going to use certain guys. And that's going to be big for us, especially in year one with terminology, with getting used to certain teams, how they want to play, how they want to beat you. And like you said, how they, how ineffective are they in terms of doing other things, a team when they take away certain things, right? So it's going to be all those things are going to be super important in year one as we get this thing rolling to Illinois State.
Man, and you hit that right on the head, man. And one thing I forgot to ask you, and I definitely wanted to touch this. You know, what is going to be a day in the life for Illinois State basketball player? Like, do you guys have 6 a.m. workouts? Do you have evening workouts? How does that work for you guys? What do you plan to do, rather?
Well,
What's your preference, rather?
yeah, in a perfect world, we would have practice, mid morning, probably at 10 or so in the morning, and go from 10 to 1. But I think, based on, again, year one, you're adjusting to how the university does things and what we've done
Yeah.
in the past. And we're trying to do things. Obviously, Coach Ryan Pete and our staff, we're trying to do things our way. So that's an adjustment period. But we're going to the guys are going to wake up. You're probably going to have class around 8 a.m. or so. And then you're going to, some guys will have, like we spoke on earlier, some guys will have to get up earlier than others to eat a meal, eat breakfast in the morning, right? Because those guys could be weight gain guys or maintain guys or whatever it is. We want to make sure you eat, right? And we want to monitor whether guys eat or not with the resource we have. That's what we want to do. Because some guys, man, believe it or not, man, they might say, "Hey, coach, I ate." Nah, you didn't really eat. No, you didn't. You didn't really eat. Right? Nah, that's important, man, to make sure guys are eating, because you have class from 8 a.m. to up until 12. Some guys may not eat until lunchtime, and depending on when our practice is, if it's which I think most of our block this year is going to be from that 2 to 6 slot, I think, right? And if you don't eat breakfast, and then sometimes you don't eat lunch because sometimes you got academically, sometimes stuff ran over, tutor, whatever the case may be, then you start practice and you may grab a snack in there before practice, a PB&J or a granola bar, a Nutri-Grain bar, whatever it is, and you may grab a shake and something to drink, and then you're running on practice from 2 to 6 or 2 to 5, whatever, how long it is, and you ain't ate nothing all day, man. Right.
Yeah,
So it's,
like
you got to make sure that you get something in your body, man. So, they're going to eat in the mornings. You'll have class from 8 to noon, probably, or roughly, and then probably break for lunch. And then, you have practice that slot, like I said, from 2 to 5 or 2 to 6. And then, we'll have dinner afterwards for them right after practice to get that meal catered to them. And then they might have, depending on your major or what you do, you might have class in the afternoon or late night or in the evening, maybe 1 or 2 classes per week on that. And then you might have a tutor that night, and then you'll be done probably about 8, 9 o'clock. And then you just your chance to kind of figure out your social life or whatever. And then you got to wake up and do it again. Right. And that's the real art between being a college athlete, is kind of manage your time.
Absolutely,
right?
time
We're not
management.
naive, right? We're not naive. We've been in college before. We know what happens, right? As far as you having a significant other or whatever the case may be, right? With that, and having free time or going out to a party or whatever the case may be. But you got to learn how to manage your time effectively so that doesn't get in your way of getting you better. And to be honest with you, man, I when I played, man, I tell guys this all the time, man. I said, "Hey, man, my goal as an assistant coach is make you better than what I was and what I went through as a college athlete. I want to make you better." So that means, hey, I want to make sure you get more sleep than I did. I wasn't a big time sleeper. I got sleep, but I wasn't maximizing it, right? The same thing with eating. Like, I could eat anything I wanted to, and I wasn't, I was lucky in that regard, but I could have did better, right? So I want to make sure they're eating better. I want to make sure they're getting more shots up, right? Because I was quick to, sometimes go out, and I was a good player and I worked hard in practice. Don't get me wrong, but I could have did more in the gym, and that's my goal. Is I want to make our players better than what I was in school, and that's that's how much I have the luxury of being in their shoes, playing at the Division I level and then playing at a high level to help them, because I've been through what they're going through. Right? I've been in their shoes before, so. That's what I want to do as a coach, and also as a mentor too, even outside the ball, man. I want to help these kids grow, as like I said earlier in the podcast, man. I want to help these kids grow, and that's my job as assistant coach here at Illinois State.
Man, you hit that one right on the head. I got one last question, and this is more a pick your brain question.
Yep.
Shoe circuit or independent circuit?
You put me on the spot with that stuff, man. You know what, man? I'm a firm believer of this, and I was actually just talking to a recruit's dad about this the other day, because he plays kind of on an off the circuit team. And I said, you know what? If your son or whoever is daughter or whoever's playing is good enough, college coaches, I think there's so many resources out there with Twitter, with social media stuff. They're gonna find you if you're good enough. It may be a couple guys that maybe slip through, but to slip through the cracks that no one sees. But for the most part, nowadays, they're gonna find you if you're good enough. So I say the thing with me and my advice would be, pick a team that you're gonna play with, man. Don't just pick a team for the circuit. There's a lot of perks with the circuit. Don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of perks with that, but find a team that you're gonna play with and get time with, so coaches can see you play and can evaluate you. Right.
Production.
Production. If you're playing with a team, right, that's that's the best team in the country, right, but you're not playing, right, you're not gonna get seen, right? It's so play with a team that's gonna give you exposure, that you're gonna get playing time with, and And like I said, if you're good enough, college coach is gonna find
I couldn't agree with you more. Hey, man, you knocked it out the park with that, man. And, brother, as we both said, working with both of our schedules, man, first of all, man, congratulations, man. You
you.
deserve it,
Thank you.
man.
Appreciate it, man.
I
Appreciate it.
seen you, I seen you hustling, and man, you just building not only your name, you're building programs, man. And I'm happy for you, man. So, you know, whether it took time, whatever, man, you got my support. I'm a phone call away, man. And I love what you're doing for the kids in the program, man. Definitely, man.
Hey, hopefully have me on again, man. Have me
Oh
on again.
man,
That was great.
you
Hey,
you already know, man.
hey,
You
thanks
you
for having me
family.
on, man. I'm glad we connected, man. It's been a while, man. I told y'all I'd come on, man,
You
and
did. You
we were
did.
we were we were doing podcast tag, man. We were on trying to figure it out, man, when it can get me on. So appreciate you having me
Definitely,
on,
man.
man. Really do.
Definitely. And man, I'll be up that way. I will be up there for the Midwest JUCO Jamboree. So
Okay.
I'll be up there for that one. So,
Well,
when
hit
I
me
come,
up,
matter of
man.
fact,
We'll
I'll be
link
up
up.
there this weekend for in St. Louis for the Larry Hughes Elite Camp and Allen
Okay.
Iverson Camp. So I'll be up there. But when I get close, man, I'm gonna reach out to you, man.
All right. Well, hit me up anytime, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Definitely, man. You have a good one, man. You take care, okay?
You too. Take care.
All right. Coach Offutt, man, listen, sometimes it's about X's and O's, but then it's about good people as well. And he's definitely one of the good people in the business. And if I had a son that was worthy of Illinois State, I would be comfortable sending him to Coach Offutt. Man, my next guest, man, I'm so proud of this guy, man. To see him just continue to move and, do really big things. And he just got a big position, and I wanted to make sure I brought him on to introduce everybody who are not familiar with him already, but you will. Man, let me bring on, man, Coach Jason Roscoe, the new head coach at Madison Technical College, JUCO, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Man,
Thanks for having
man,
me.
man, anytime. First off, man, congratulations, man. I can't wait to get up there to see the things you're going to do, man. And, I wanted to bring you on to talk about Madison Technical College, man. And, for people that aren't aware of what it is and what you're doing and the new path that they're headed to as well. So we're going to jump into that as well. But, man, I'm just up here beaming, man. Ever since you got the job, man, I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to get up there to see what he does. And, tell us something about Madison Technical College for the people that are not familiar with it from what you've been educating me with. And, man, I've been looking at some of the literature. I'm like, man, this is a nice little deal here.
Yeah, so it's right in the heart of Madison. University of Wisconsin is 10 minutes 10 minutes up the road. At Madison College, in particular, we have three campuses in Madison, and then we have four regional campuses, as well. Obviously, it's a 2-year, institution. The number one goal is to ensure that players who come, who are part of, our program obtain that, associate's degree. And, for some students, for many of our student athletes, obviously the goal is to get them to that next level, whether it's D3 in AIA, Division 2, Division 1. That's the goal. But we also know, and I'm mindful of, the realities for some student athlete that that may not necessarily be an option, particularly at the 2-year level. Some of the students athletes may, look to enter the workforce directly upon, obtaining, that associate's degree. The opportunities are limitless, particularly for the student athletes who are from the Wisconsin area. There's programs, in place that ultimately, provide students from, Madison and the local surrounding, districts and those sorts of things to have their education paid for, and when you talk about, recruiting and, those sorts of things, my number one, priority is to, establish relationships with the coaches, um, in Madison, and in, surrounding areas throughout Wisconsin, and even, expand that, be able to try to, keep, some of these kids home, because, I know some kids obviously want to, perhaps, get away, but I believe we have, something, special, again, being a 2-year institution. And if you're from, Wisconsin, even if you're out of state, I mean, in terms of, the tuition costs, it's very, very, affordable.
And yeah, man, that's some stuff we're going to touch on as well, man. But man, for people that are not familiar with, Madison College, man, when you sent me some of the stuff that you guys have, man, listen, that's better than a number of facilities, JUCO or D3 NAI as well. They've invested some good money up there in that program, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the, recruiting mechanisms, that I'll, obviously, definitely, take advantage. The first class facilities, are top notch. It is, it's a place where you have to, kind of see it to, believe it. Seeing it in person, is even, much better. So that's, that is, it's just exciting. And also, I believe the direction, where the college is headed, and, just the overall investment, from the administration, from top to bottom, when you think about the students, support resources that are, in place at the college, when you think about the opportunities to, be engaged and get engaged, again, while obtaining a high quality education, and then, you add on the facilities, and, the opportunity to, play, do something that you love, and, have a chance to compete, at a high level. I mean, we're in one of the top, JUCO conferences, in the, in the country. The North Central Community College, it has some of the big time schools. You have Rock Valley, you have Juliet, you have Triton, you have Elgin. So it's some really, you have South Suburban. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, it's just, to play any high level, at any level, is definitely, um, guys have to, be ready, and be willing to get the job done.
I couldn't agree more with that. And, with you coming in and getting everything set up there as well, I'm looking at this as a situation like I don't think it's going to take that much time. Sure, you have to instill everything you want as far as culture wise and everything else. But I really believe that it seems like the support you're getting there is big time, man. And that's a lot of times you'll see a lot of schools on the JUCO level become frustrated because they feel like they're not getting the resources and support. And man, just from us talking and what you're getting, I'm like, man, it seems like what you're asking for the most part, you're going to get within reason, of course. But I know you're looking at certain kids, whether they're in Wisconsin or, outside of Wisconsin. Let me ask this, man. Pell Grant, and, I was getting, a better understanding that could possibly cover a good majority of the schooling there if they're full Pell, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other exciting part, is that, this for the 22-23 season, will remain at the, NJCAA Division 3 level.
Mhm.
But for 23-24, we will make the move to, Division 2, NJCAA. So, at the Division 2, level, we do, we'll have, um, some resources to, provide, scholarships, for potential student athletes, but that hasn't, been defined just yet. So I don't want to, speak,
Sure.
too soon, but that is, something that will happen. And, it's exciting, but, while we do have those scholarships, obviously nowadays times have changed. You have, many kids you see on social media, um, you always see, and all I need is an opportunity,
Yeah.
opportunity. And, unfortunately, I think, sometimes, that word gets thrown around too loosely, because
Yes.
when that opportunity comes and, you have coaches, reach out to you, that might be that one and only opportunity. So you need, as a student athlete, you need to understand that. And and everything that, that goes along with that, because I'm about, giving, opportunities, and that opportunity may not necessarily come in the form of a scholarship for, you know particular individuals, but there's other avenues and resources that, that I know that we have available, that again that could, provide that student, with a great, overall experience.
Okay. Okay. And so, and I know you're still getting the lay of the land there, but do you know what type of majors that are known at Madison College yet?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a ton of majors. So we have architecture and engineering, art
Mhm.
design and humanities, business. We have construction, manufacturing, and maintenance. Really, really good culinary arts and hospitality program, recreational management, education, the health sciences. We have some of the top health sciences programs, law, protective, and human services, transportation. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, it's a plethora of opportunities, that ultimately, again, the end goal is to, help prepare our students to, be in a position to, to transfer out and, be able to follow suit in terms of, their major, at Madison, and then, ensuring that transfers to that, that 4-year institution.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And so, while you were talking about that, and I'm going to pick your brain because ideally this is big for you. So Madison, do they offer some academic money as well if you have, maybe a 3.0 or a 3.5?
Yeah, so there's a ton of um, internal scholarships. I mean, I don't want to even give the wrong number, but
Sure.
the college itself has a huge foundation, huge
Yeah.
endowment, and a ton of various scholarships, whether it be, scholarships that are based on, one's, you know, economic background, the low SES, first gen, students from underrepresented populations. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, we have programs like Trio and, a program Scholars for Promise, programs for students who are, even parents. There's just a whole list of scholarship opportunities that are available in addition to, any amount of athletic, resources, or aid that may be given to a student athlete as well.
And I ask that because, a lot of people don't understand that you also have a opportunity to control part of your recruitment process because you become more attractive when you're at, of course, 3.5 and up. And if I could come to say, hey, Coach Roscoe, I have a 3.5, Madison College is going to give me X amount of dollars for academic money. I have, I'm full pale And so I want to come be a part of this program, and I'm not going to cost your budget. And we're really talking about next year when you have scholarship money. I'm not going to cost you anything. Can you just let people know how more attractive that person comes? And even if they become just a practice player just to get better, that, how big that is for that recruit.
Yeah, I mean that's very very important. I mean for any coaches at any level, but particularly for my level, that's going to be helpful in terms of that. Having a recruit who's willing to consider that as a
Yeah,
as an option. Obviously, everyone's situation is different, but
sure.
I'd be lying if I said that that's very very attractive to have students who meet that those criterias that you talked about, because I
Mhm,
honestly I even though we are a 2-year institution, the reality is I do it's important to bring in student athletes who, I'm not saying you have to be a 4.0 student,
mm,
because I wasn't that student. And I also believe in, you know, uh, giving students, some students may not get it right on the first opportunity. They may need a second or third opportunity. And I'm a coach who's okay with that. If I've done my research and, just understand that there's, because life happens for all of us. But to go back to your question, absolutely, that makes it, very, very attractive. I mean, if you have, high academics, and you can, and you have some talent, that's definitely, beneficial. And one of my strengths as a coach is skill development, through self motivation. So,
mhm,
bringing in guys, who are willing to, willing to work hard, who's willing to, buy in and, and willing to, just work hard, just work hard on and off the court. And the rest will take care of itself.
and you just said something, and that, it just a light bulb just went off when you said it. You're big on skill development, and for me, I'm I'm big on that as well because you know, as we all know, a lot of these guys aren't going to be plug and play,
Hmm.
especially from the jump from high school to college. On any level, it's a huge adjustment. And with you being big on skill development and you having the facilities to develop as well, man, that's going to be big. And I know you don't have everything set yet, but what would be your idea of developing there?
I mean, it would be a combination, obviously, myself, and then, trying to, assemble a staff, so,
Yes.
like we're getting ready in a few weeks, we'll it be, gearing up for preseason conditioning, you know, in the weight room, having, team workouts, individual workouts, so it's a combination of those things. And, really just assessing, doing what I can to really assess, where they're at currently, and thinking about how can I improve, get them to the level where, perhaps they want to be, but where I need them to be in order for us to, maximize, our success as a, as a team. What's funny is we just had our first team meeting late last night, and I had the opportunity to watch them. They had a practice, like an open gym, so I was able to watch that, virtually. So, based on, what I've seen, I just provided just some small critiques, and just some critiques that they, you know, um, that they, wouldn't think are like, man, it's just the small details, even from, just walking in the gym, not just, throwing up shots, really just being intentional, whether you're in the gym for 2 minutes or you're in there for an hour, and that's the other thing, too, is just understanding that, you don't have to be in the gym, 4 hours. You can, be in the gym, 45 minutes. It's about quality over quantity. Really just getting quality, reps at whatever it is that we're doing in terms of skill development is, really, what I'm looking for. I'm not, I'm more of an old school, guy when it comes to skill development and, preparation, not to take anything from the new school, so to speak, but, I mean, you see it today. A lot of kids, it's got a lot of kids don't play off 2 feet, for instance, so teaching guys just the basics, being able to, play off two and, get in the paint, sit and spray, being able to, make different reads off of cuts, knowing how to, read the defender, see him out the corner of your eye, those sorts of things. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. So basically, a typical day for at Madison, do you plan to practice in the morning, evenings, or that's still yet to be determined?
yeah, we're still trying to work it out. I mean, obviously, when you have multiple, sports, it's just, whoever's in season, they,
Yeah,
have priority. So that's totally understandable.
yeah.
So preseason we'll probably do, looking at evening, and then once we kind of get into the season, we may kind of alternate just a little bit, maybe kind of late afternoon to, and or keep it even. It's about, also consistency for the, for our guys and get them into a routine as, as well as the, the staff. So we're still kind of working out the kinks in that regard.
And let me ask this: so, is the schedule already set, or are you still making the schedule for this season?
The game schedule.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it's already set. It's already
Okay.
set.
Okay.
I have it actually right here. I was looking at. We have some tough. It's a tough schedule, man. It really is a tough schedule. Like our league that we play in. I mean, when you talk about Rock Valley, South Suburban, Juliet, um, Rochester Community and Technical College,
Mhm.
Milwaukee Tech. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's no every night, man. It kind of reminds me of the Peach Belt,
Yes,
in
sir.
a lot of ways, and just that every night you gotta bring your your A game, and on any given night, the top teams can be beat, so just trying to do what we can to ensure that our that we're prepared and we're ready to go, but the schedule has been set. We'll open up actually at Rock Valley for JUCO Jamboree, in late October, and then November 1st, we our first home game is against McHenry County College.
So where's that? You said the JUCO Jamboree is at Rock Valley.
Yep, in Rockford, Illinois,
What's the date on it?
October 22nd.
Okay. Okay. And that's a Sunday.
I believe that's a Saturday. Should be a Saturday.
Uh, you're right. You're right. You're right. So just winding up, man. As I'm thinking about this, and I'm so happy for you, man, because you deserve this opportunity. Um, there's a plethora, with people that don't know, there's a plethora of very good Division II and Division III schools in the area you're at. A bunch of the Wisconsin schools that are some of the Wisconsin kind of like the satellite schools. They're D2s and D3s, and they're very good. So, I know you're going to build those relationships. We already know Milwaukee has a plethora of good players as
Mhm.
well. We know Racine has some good players. We know like what Wisconsin Platt is a very good program as well.
Yeah.
And you're going to build. I know you're going to build all those high school D2, D3, NAI relationships. I'm sure you'll get to know the main people over at Wisconsin Madison as well. And man, just happy for you, man. Just definitely happy for you, and to see where this is going to go. And here's a good thing as well. Now that I think about it as well, you know, you're coming from a different level from a recruitment standpoint. How are you going to recruit now? Because, of course, you're going to be budget related.
Yeah.
So, are you going to stay mainly up there? Or are you going to try and get out and recruit other states? What's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, well, like I said before, the number one goal is, I'm learning, obviously there's a lot of, talent, in that area. So trying to keep as many guys as I can, high character, high quality guys home. And, it just it's all going to, in part depend on kind of, what the scholarship dollars, look like. And, just, the flexibility, that I'm, that I'm hoping to, have. I want to try to, be able to, for me, you know, being a diverse team is very, very important as well. As a coach, having, being able to have a team of players from, just, diverse backgrounds and just different, upbringings. I want to try to, be able to do that, if possible. But, you have, Illinois, I know Minnesota, I believe right now is the only state that, that there's a setup with Madison College where they can, pretty much obtain in-state tuition,
Yeah.
as well. And then, like you said, Milwaukee's, nearby. Again, Chicago, um, Indiana. So I'm going to try to, branch out and attract many, students student athletes as I can. Like you said, that part kind of also goes, back to, just affordability and what, some, what, the prospective players, situation is.
Okay. Okay. Hey, man, listen, you already know this won't be your last time on the show, man. Congratulations again, man. You got a task in front of you. You building a program, but you have a network of people that are supporting you or happy for you, and to see you take that thing to a whole nother level up there in Madison. And I can't wait to get up there to take a look at it, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I definitely want to, before I go, just make sure I shout out my guys. Coach Alexander, who's been very instrumental and who I've become as a man. We've had a relationship since I was 14 years old. I played for him in, high school and college, and obviously served on his staff. At Clayton State, and he's really just helped me prepare for this opportunity. And he's one of the, top coaches and regardless of level, he's a winner. And then, also shout out to my guy, your guy, Coach Dre, man. We're a close family, and, hopefully, we'll build a pipeline, wherever they're at.
Okay.
Obviously that's just, that's just how it works, man. So just wanted to, acknowledge them, as well, because they've meant a lot and helped me, be in this position that I'm in today.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's that old adage, it takes a village, man. And when one person, makes it, everybody makes it, man. And
Yes,
that's the
sir.
way it should be looked at, man. And, like I said, whatever I can do to help, man, I'm a phone call away.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for having me, and look forward to keeping in touch and
Definitely.
staying connected.
Definitely, man. We'll see how, I definitely want to see how everything turns out. I have family up there, so I'm gonna get up there to check you out regardless. So, man, I can't wait to see, make sure you send me the schedule too. Send me the
Yes, sir. I
schedule.
got
So
you.
yeah, so I can go ahead and plan that, and we'll go from there, man. And we'll be talking real soon, man. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate you.
All right, man. You take
All right,
care.
take care. Yes, sir.
All right. Coach Roscoe, man, taking on a new endeavor as a JUCO coach up in Madison College. Um, Very talented coach, and let's just put that to the side. He's a good guy, man. And what you always want to keep the good guys in this business in your corner, because you never know where, they could help you in any way possible. And it's not about reaching out for, a handout, but you just never know. Everybody needs help at some point. And I feel like he's going to take that program and turn it into something very big. Man, our next guest, man, when we start talking about networks, he was introduced through a mutual connection of ours. And, we met up and we talked and we hit it off. And, we stay in contact on a regular basis now. And, he's at a high academic institution out in California. And I wanted to bring him out on the show to talk about his program. And it's not like it's not well known anyway. I want to bring out Coach Keith Berard from Cal Polytech out in California. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well, my brother. How are you? Appreciate you having me on the show.
I'm good, man. I'm good. And I'm a big advocate for high academic schools, regardless of level. And when OB, put me in touch with you and told me you at Cal Polytech, I was, oh yeah, I definitely want to have, because it's not just about Ivy Leagues, and there's a lot of very good high academic schools, and people had the misconception that it's only Ivy League or bust. And I don't know, that's not correct. There's some very good schools, and that's why I wanted to bring you on to talk about this, man. And also, the conference, so people that don't know about Cal Poly, this is their opportunity, man. So first of all, let them know where Cal Poly is in California, man.
Okay. Cal Poly is located in San Luis Obispo. We're part of what's called the Central Coast. So that means we are 3 hours north of Los Angeles and 3 hours south of San Francisco. So we are right smack dab in the middle off the coast.
Okay.
We're about 10 minutes. I mean, San Luis Obispo is probably about 10 minutes away from the beach. We're surrounded by about 4 or 5 different beaches. Avila Beach, Grover Beach, Pismo Beach, which is probably a lot of people might have heard of. It's more of the touristy type beach. So great little community, great town. I can't say anything bad about it. I mean, I've enjoyed my time here. I've only been here for a year, but I've enjoyed my time and, looking forward to many more. Definitely can't beat the weather. Coming from Houston, and I got to throw that out there. Definitely can't beat the weather, man. It's been awesome out here. Get those nice cool breezes at night. So it's definitely been a great experience.
Definitely. And so we also talk about being high academic. So your average student doesn't just get accepted to Cal Poly. Like, you have to have some grades, and that also goes for student athletes as well, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to bring it academically. There's no questions about it. The school is going to challenge you academically. And the great thing about it, we always say, you're coming here to get a 4-year degree, but it's really a 40-year degree, because a lot of our students, they graduate with a job. I mean, basically ready for them as soon as they come out. I mean, Cal Poly is really known, it's well known throughout the United States. I mean, I've been on the road, different places, and I'll just have on my CP shirt, and they'll be like, "Is that Cal Poly?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we have another campus, which is in Pomona, but a lot of people know about Cal Poly SLO, about San Luis Obispo. So it's not like it's just a West Coast thing that people just know about us out here. I mean, like I said, I've run into a lot of people, since I've been traveling, and they know what the CP stands for. So it's definitely a great institution to get your degree from. Again, they're going to push you. The professors are going to push you, but it's not like the work can't be done. And especially as an athlete, we have all of the tools necessary to help you guys out, our ladies out, with tutoring. We have academic coaches and things like that, to try to push them in the right direction, especially for those, freshmen or even the transfer students, those first-year students, because it can be a little eye-opener at times. But again, the work can be done. It's not like it's extremely over the top. The work can be done. You just have to put in the effort.
Definitely. And so for people that don't know, what conference is Cal Poly in?
We're in the Big West Conference. So it's, majority, all of the West Coast schools with, Long Beach State, Fullerton, Cal State Northridge, UC Davis, Santa Barbara, Irvine, Riverside, and UC San Diego just joined the conference, and Hawaii. So We do get to take that nice trip over to Hawaii. It's nice as long as you can go over there and get a win. That makes it really nice and special.
That's true. That is definitely true. Because UC San Diego, they moved up, right? Because they used to be D2, right?
Yeah, they used to be D2. Now they're in the process of transitioning up. So
yeah, and actually they used to be a D2 powerhouse too.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how they end up turning out. So let me ask this, especially on the high academic side, like there's no days off for study wise, and when I say that, the expectation is high, for academics at Cal Poly. So what's the typical day look like, and how different is it from your typical school? It's not to throw shade on any other school, but when you're high academic, there's a reason you're high academic.
Yeah, we try to keep it as normal as possible. Classes, try to get the guys to go to class in the morning to try to take care of business. Then it depends on when practice is. If we get an early afternoon practice, but then we have study hall, and it depends on the guys' class. Some guys might have to take an evening class or something like that. So it just depends on what time their classes are that we can kind of schedule study hall. I'm sorry, and try to make sure that we're getting the most out of them academically. And again, that's why I said the academic coaches comes into play. Well, they're assigned an academic coach that helps them. It's almost like tutoring if they need, extra help, or as far as, making sure they're doing the right things. They know how to study in class. They know how to, do a paper, get the outline done the correct way. They kind of guide them and help them out a little bit. So, but like we try to keep it as normal as possible. You have those guys, we have those guys that are very high academically. So a lot of them, how it is, some guys just come in and knock it out right away, and then you have some guys that it takes a little bit more. And so for those guys, again, we do everything we can possibly with the tutors and academic coaches to try to help them, throughout the day, because it can be very strenuous. I mean, we all know as student athletes that it makes for a long day. And then you throw in community service and things like that. I mean, we're always trying to get out in the community. So, we try to do everything we can, to help these guys out, to get their academics done.
Okay. And Cal Poly is known for they're known for IT, and they're known for some other specialties, correct?
Yes, ag is a big major out here. Agriculture is huge. I mean, you can see the horses running around on campus and things like that. Have a little wildlife running around. I've seen some turkeys and stuff like that on campus. So,
oh wow,
life is definitely pretty big. Yeah, I mean, we see when summertime comes, you'll see deer walking through. Because once school is in, I mean, we have 22,000 plus students, so campus is busy. And then, in the summertime, not as many students here. So you can see a little wildlife running, walking through campus, things like that. But like I said, deer, a few turkeys, stuff like that. But agriculture is big. Business is big. And engineering is probably, one of our top programs, to go along with the agriculture. So, it's definitely a lot to offer. We have a lot to offer as far as academics. I mean, I don't know everything, but you can get online and check it out and see the different majors and minors that we have to offer.
Okay. Now, let me ask this as well. Do you guys have a grad program there, right?
Yes, we do.
So do you have grad assistants on staff as well?
Right now, we don't have grad assistants.
Okay.
That's something that we're trying to work on and things like that. But that's one thing that we've been trying to look at. I mean, to try to get, some guys over here and help them get their education and to get involved in basketball. That's a great way to get involved, is being a graduate assistant. I mean, that, and a lot of people that are listed podcast know, that's one way of getting into college basketball. So,
because usually the next step is from grad assistant to DOBO a lot of times.
Exactly. And then, that gets your foot in the door, at least, how this business is, it's who a lot of the times, So.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. And so how big are you part of the skill development, or do you guys have other people on staff to do the skill development? How's that work?
All of our coaches, we all work with our during skill development. So Coach Smith, my head coach, who's been here for going on year 4, has done a phenomenal job of trying to get things going over here. he's really big on the skill development. So we all have positions like I'm with the point guards. We have our other two coaches that, work with the bigs or the other guards. And sometimes, Coach Smith will switch it up for us, so we all can work with each group. It's not just, we have a particular group that we work with, but at times he wants us to, work with the other groups as well. So, keeps us on our toes and make sure, we know what's going on throughout the whole program, not just with a particular group of guys.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, since you guys do play in Hawaii, is that like a situation where you have to travel, like take some extra days for that trip, or how does that work?
I mean, it's part of conference, so it depends on how the conference is laid out. Maybe like this past season, we played at home on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. We played Bakersfield at home on Tuesday, and we left right after the game and went to San Jose to fly out instead of going down to LAX, because LAX is, the traffic could be, you already know how it is, going out that way, and the traffic and trying to get through the airport is pretty bad at times. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. But San Jose is about 2.5 hours away, so we drove to San Jose that night, got up Wednesday and flew out Wednesday, and we played Thursday. So you don't really get, extra days like you would hope that you could get, because again, you got to go over there and the time change and trying to get adjusted. But I think our guys, they do a phenomenal job. We try to get in as early as possible and try to, get through, walk through some things. You try to get them acclimated, but again, it's such a quick turnaround that you don't really get acclimated. But, our guys are pretty resilient, and, I thought we did a pretty good job when we went over there this year.
Okay. And so even past it, because I always thought of the travel, I'm like, gosh, that one's out of the way. Everybody else is almost in state, if I'm not mistaken. So it's it still can be a little like going down to San Diego. That's what, 4 or 5 hours, right?
Yes. And that's a good thing. Everything is majority of bus ride. So which helps out. I mean, we're there. We can leave the day before, get to our destination, and we're ready to play the next day. We would fly if we need to from, say, we play in the Sacramento area to go down to the LA area. Yeah, then you catch you a quick flight to do that instead of driving those 6-7 hours. But for the most part, I mean, everything is 2 to 4 hours at the most on the bus.
Yeah,
so
and that's not bad.
Simple. Like I said, get our charter bus, and on there the guys can, again, when it comes back to the academics like we talk about, they're on the charter bus doing work. Make sure they have their books so they can get some things knocked out. And even when we're on the road, we have study hall on the road. So good thing with technology nowadays, I mean, everything's on computer, so it's a lot easier than it was back in the day, when we first started, coaching and things like that. I mean, it made it difficult. You didn't have the internet like it used to be and things like that. So, with the way technology is nowadays, it's a lot, it helps out when you be on the road and being able to get study hall done.
So, and this is a question that we talked about earlier. Has Cal Poly, and it matters to kids, but it's a badge of honor, basically. Have you guys had anybody that's played professionally? And I'm not talking just NBA, just overseas or not.
Yes, we've had plenty of guys go and play overseas, and actually we have a young man in the NBA right now, David Nwaba. Started out with the Lakers, and he's been around the league for a couple years now, and he's a guy that wasn't drafted coming out of college, but he figured out a way to make his mark, and caught a couple scouts' eye, and now he's been in the league for a couple years. So he's found his niche, and he figured it out, and he's one of those guys that knows, like, people probably these teams are going to have scores. I need to find something else, so he's going out there being a defensive specialist, and he knows that's how I'm gonna get on the floor. But we have had plenty of guys go play overseas. We do an alumni weekend. We had one this past year, and a bunch of guys came back. It was great just seeing those guys and just listening to their stories. The things that happened while they were here at Cal Poly. A few of them that participated on that 2014 team that went to the NCAA tournament. Just listen to the stories and the things like that, and their overall experience. I mean, most of those guys we run into that graduate from Cal Poly have nothing but great things to say about Cal Poly. And that's shows a lot about how the school operates, and how the guys that came through enjoyed it.
I agree. And the thing I love about high academics as well is a lot of times, like you said, most of these guys have jobs before they even graduate.
Yes. I mean, case in point, I think I might have told you this earlier. One of our players that just graduated from us, Finnish kid, 6'10", had an opportunity to go back home and play. And he was like, Coach, I'm done. I want to move on. And he had a job waiting for him as soon as he graduated. So that's why I say, Cal Poly is definitely a great, you graduate from here, great things happen for students. And, how many people can say that they have, high paying jobs graduating right out of right out of college. I mean, that's not the norm, but that just goes to show you how coming here and getting your degree, how the professors push you and how, they're going to want to get the best out of you. So when you move on to the real world, that, it's not going to be any trouble or anything. You can make that easy transition.
So does Cal Poly, like a lot of the other high academics, do they have like those good paying internships like their junior year? And I would have to assume because of Silicon Valley, they probably do.
Yeah, and that's more I need to look into to kind of see, but I'm sure we do. I mean, there's a lot of internships and a lot of people that graduated from Cal Poly again throughout the state, and people that graduate from Cal Poly, they are very proud of their school, and they come back, the alumni, when we have not just basketball alumni weekends, but when just ordinary just regular students able to come back and come back to the school, people are coming back here to walk around campus to see how it's grown, and we have slow days where the freshmen are coming in, and a lot of the freshmen, their parents probably went to school here, so the parents are proud alumni and they come back. Just about 2 weeks ago, I was walking on campus and just happened to be going back to my office, and people stopped me. They were like, "Are you one of the basketball coaches?" I'm like, "Yes." They was like, "Oh, we just love it." Like they had their grandson with them, and he was a big basketball fan, and it just made their day to meet, the coach. And then some of the players walked by, and they got a chance to, the kid got a chance to talk to the players, and and the grandmother and the mom, they all graduated from here. So very proud alumnus of Cal Poly, and like I said, everywhere you go, if somebody graduate from Cal Poly, they are, Mustangs ride high. It's all about that. They got to make sure we know that they graduated from Cal Poly.
So let me ask this as well. I mean, I love to pick brains on this one.
Oh.
Here we go. And we have these conversations all the time. Shoe circuit or independent?
I mean, you have to hit both. I hate, you're going to tend to go towards a shoe circuit because that's where a lot of the players, let's be honest, that's where a majority of the players are going. So a lot of the guys that we followed were on the shoe circuit, but you have to hit the independents as well. I thought that was a great thing that Atlanta just had this summer. You had the shoe circuits out there, but you also had the independent tournaments going on, and you never know. I mean, you go hit the independents, you find that diamond in the rough. I mean, because not everyone can play on the shoe circuit. Let's just be honest. And you have some good players that are playing on the independent circuit as well. So, I mean, of course, you have to go. I mean, shoe circuits are going to be where I have to say, but I think you can find that diamond in the rough on the on the independent circuit, and especially for us, like a high academic guy, you can find a lot of kids like that, out there.
And I couldn't agree with you more, especially that's where a lot of high academics end up finding those diamond in the roughs. And don't get me wrong, there's some great high academic guys that play shoe circuit as well.
Yeah.
But, for you have to diverse out a little more, just like you were here for the high school live period as well. Like, that's where you're going to find some of those high academic kids as well. So you just have to, as they say, shop a little more, so to speak, go into a couple more aisles. That's all.
The times definitely. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's what we have to do. And you know, we find guys from all over, not just, you know, stayed out here in California. I mean, we have guys from all over on our roster. I mean, we have a young man from Atlanta. I mean, he's a transfer, but you know, he's here on our campus, Virginia. You know, we're spreading out and trying to get out there. So again, that's why I appreciate you having me on your show today.
Oh man, definitely, man. That goes without question, man. I mean, because you know, a lot of times when you have schools on the West Coast, of course they know UCLA, USC, Stanford. You know, they know Wash, they know Oregon State. But you know, a lot of times when you say Cal Poly, now the people that are in the academics, you know, they're like, oh yeah, you know, I know.
Mhm.
But you know, a lot of times the kids that play, they'll be like, where's that at?
Yeah.
What conference are they in? And then it's an educational thing where you have like, man, listen, you know, this is a great opportunity. You know, I advocate for education. I'm like, man, you need to, if they're interested, you definitely need to pay attention. No question.
Oh,
Definitely
from day
pay
one,
attention.
when I first met you, that was the first. As soon as you was like academics, oh, I mean, you've been in my corner since day one, and like that's why I appreciate you, man. Always, you know, willing to help a brother out and trying to, you know, hey, get some guys out here.
But man, and even with getting guys out there, man, like let's put basketball to the side. What you said earlier, it's not a 4-year degree, it's a 40-year degree. You know what I'm saying? It's setting you up for the next 40 years because you know as well as I know, when the ball stops bouncing, then what?
Exactly. What are you gonna fall back on? And I've always been that way. As use basketball. Don't let basketball use you. Make sure
And
you have to
yes.
get that degree because I mean, again, I love it. If everybody could play till they were 50 to 60 years old, that would be great. But we all know that's not going to ever happen. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. And so
But
once that ball stops bouncing, you have to have something to fall back on. And, you know, again, that's kind of has been coach's mantra, you know, hey, it's not just a 4-year degree, it's a 40-year degree. And, you know, we have to use that because it really is a 40-year degree, like you're just saying.
But here's the other thing, and Keith, you know this as well, man. I can't agree with this more. You know, a lot of times, even if we are looking to stay within basketball, a lot of times we still fail on the business side of it because don't know how to maneuver outside of, you know, whether you want to go to coaching, sometimes broadcasting, but there's a plethora of other opportunities that guys have no idea about from, you know, the business side of sports, man. And you know, I think as a basketball community, we definitely have to hone in to help some of these kids to say, hey, there are other opportunities in basketball. If you want to be a scout, if you want to, you know, if you want to be a statistician, there's so many opportunities that a lot of these guys don't even think about. And again, it's not just about basketball. Yes, there are other avenues, there's others, life after basketball, but if you honestly do want to stay in it, if you love it that much, there's ways. And a lot of guys just don't know, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of guys and you know, people don't understand how tough this business is as far as coaching. I mean, you know, for me, I started off in junior college, and I tell everyone, if you ever try to get into basketball or, you know, collegiate coaching for the money, as a beginner, don't do it, because my first job, I made $6,000 for the year coaching at a junior college. So
Mhm.
it was like, you know, I tell my story. I don't, you know, I'm not embarrassed about it or anything,
Uh,
but you know, hey, this is what I had to do in order to get into something that I really love doing. And you know,
but Keith, think about it like this, bro. You actually got to check. There are plenty of opportunities where they're just giving you
done money.
housing, and that's it. Housing in the meal plan, and that's it.
Exactly. So, you know, like you said, there are a bunch of different things out here. We do have to educate, you know, our young men and women to, you know, to understand that, you know, it's not just about basketball. There's other business, plenty of business opportunities out there.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry, but what
Absolutely.
up, fam? You know, I had to say something. My fam right there. What up, E?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hey,
Come on now.
hey,
Come on.
it's noisy
What's
over
going on?
here.
Huh?
I said
What'd
it's
you say?
noisy in Atlanta.
Oh, I can understand that.
Yeah, a
Can't
little different.
Poly.
Yeah.
Hey, it's nice and quiet. I have my window open in my room, so getting this
Now
nice.
I hear
little-
ducks at night, but I hear lots of other things outside. It's way different.
Oh,
Don't shed bad light now. Don't shed bad light.
tell
Oh
her
no,
she's
no, no,
doing
no,
that, right?
no. No. I mean, I came back here for a reason, so you know.
And speaking of which, um, I'll just go ahead and say it. You have impressed some folks already
Okay.
from a sports medicine. From my understanding, there was a situation that happened at Clayton State, and you
Oh,
popped a shoulder back in.
I'm like, Coach, I'm trying to be mom today. I'm trying to be mom today. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here. Okay, I'm gonna sit here. Okay, Coach start walking out. I'm like, well, I mean, okay. Walked in, put it back in.
I
So
heard. Trust me, I heard. So, you went Saturday, I went Sunday, but I didn't know that. I was like, yes, I know her, and I know her through a network, and
yeah,
so they were like, hey man, listen, she can work here anytime she wants.
yeah, they've been trying already. They're like, I'm gonna send you information on. I said, okay, all right. Right now I'm a
Hey,
free agent, so I'll do something.
but Keith, as her agent, I get a 3% cut,
There you go. Hey, there you go. You got to get
harboring
your
these
little
deals, definitely. But no, like I told you before, you're going to be fine here. You're going to be fine once your name gets out there. It's going to be, what do you want to do?
I already know I'll have more than enough work. I definitely will. I mean, it's only been 8 days. We haven't been here that long. We haven't been here that
That's
long.
what I said. Your name is already ringing bells, and
Yep.
I
We met.
brought you
Keith and I
on.
know each other from what, 2004?
Who, you and I?
Yeah.
Yeah, TSU, yep.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
about to
before
brag.
we
I'm
had
about to
kids.
brag on it real quick because David, she's one of the best. I mean, that I've been around, worked with her, and just watching her throughout when I was back in Houston. And I go to different events, and who shows up? Erin. I'm like, what you doing? And I mean, because she was in high demand out there, and I know she's going to do a heck of a job out there in the ATL. So
Thank you.
Listen,
you guys have a
man,
great one right there.
I'm telling you. So, I walked in, and I walked in yesterday. That was the first thing they said, man, I didn't know, I was like, yeah. I was like, man, she's going to be working my events. Are you kidding me? They were like, oh, man, you got a steal there. I was like, well, she was recommended to me. And again, that's how all of us have met each other. Let's just be honest. We've all met each other through networking, right?
Correct.
It was, hey, I know this person, I want you to meet him. Hey, I know this person, wants you to meet him. And who would have known this 4 or 5 months ago? We didn't know each other at that time,
No
but
clue.
through knowing somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and again, I tell people all the time, that's how I get a lot of guests on my show through, hey, I know this guy. And yes, once we connect, of course, it's just natural from there. It's like when I met you, Keith. I mean, we up there talking. Yeah, we're supposed to be evaluating. We talking games. We talking a little bit of everything. And Erin, the same thing for you as well. Like when I met you, I got the phone call. Hey, she's moved to Atlanta. Can you look out? Hey, no question. What you need? And
He asked
you
me the
came.
next day. He's like, "Can you be on the show tomorrow?" I said, "Wait a minute." Okay.
I know David's gonna probably knock me out because I had pushed back a couple times. So again, my apologies.
That happens. I mean, but when you're in the business, you understand that. And Erin, how ironic it was, your son was looking for a school, he chose a school, and what happened? The next day he's playing against my son's school.
Yep. Just like that.
Just like that.
First
So it's
game.
just
First
one of those
game out.
situations.
So,
Yep, first game out.
first game
And
out.
so,
in this big old world, it's so small. I mean, that's the crazy
yes,
part. It's such a
very
big world.
much so.
It's so small because, like you said, you might not know that person directly, but you might know somebody that knows somebody. And
exactly.
So my point to that is, I mean, a lot of this, your platform, David, is not just for coaches. It's really for the kids, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Really to let them know, like, everyone's not going to be on, like you just said, on a circuit team. Everyone's not going to be, getting blown up on Twitter and Instagram. but there are opportunities there.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just have to look for them, but opening your mouth and being able to network and learn how to do that on your own is going to be really, really important. I can't even speak to how important that is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had no idea
Absolutely.
you were going to be there on Sunday. I was there on Saturday.
Yeah, I
How many
didn't.
people overlap between the two of us just in a 24-hour window?
Absolutely. And as much as I'm in Houston, as a matter of fact, I'll be in St. Louis this weekend coming up at the Larry Hughes camp. So whose hometown is that? You see what I'm saying? So you just never know. And when I met both of you, I was like, oh, you both are in Houston. I was like, well, I had a sister in Pearland and a sister in Katy. So, it's just you flow right from there. Because what's the chances that I'm in Houston all the time? I was at Jim Hicks. Both of you know Jim Hicks and Marcus Sloan. I know both of
Very
them.
well.
But, it's just a situation. You never know who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And next thing you know, now I got both of you on the show, and here we are. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're giving the tidbits, the inside information. I don't think people really realize, even these kids that are in the pros, they knew someone. Most of them. Am I right, Keith?
Exactly.
A lot of them, someone knew that kid to want to see that kid again and put their name in the hat.
Even down, and Keith will speak to that, even from recruiting.
I was just about to say
part.
that.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. I mean, even in recruiting, yeah, I might not be able to, have a scholarship for you, but I'll pass if you're, do the things the right way, I'm gonna pass your name along to another coach that I know that might be looking for that spot. It seems like it's a big world, but when we look at it, it's a small world because
Really tiny.
we're gonna know somebody that knows somebody. I mean, and that's in almost any business, not just coaching.
Correct.
I'm sure Erin has, she knows a lot of people. I mean, we had a mutual friend that was at PV, so it's not just, the coaching field. I mean, it's almost in any field out there that you can think of that, and it's all about networking.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And, and then everybody uses what they have. Like, what you have at Cal Poly, of course I'm gonna put somebody there. And Erin, we I don't even have to do nothing for you now. Like, your name is already circulating now. It's just that they're like, oh, Dave. Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Or, Erin. Yeah. I already know her. Yeah. So,
Like, the one with the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing though in the same sentence because
nose. I like shoulders. I like broken noses though. That's my thing. That's my job.
You like broken.
She's seen it all. Hey, she always helped my daughter out. I cannot thank her enough, especially in them summer track, the summertime for track.
Yeah,
I was loving it when I see Erin out here. Oh yes,
she's like,
right.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go. Caitlin, go see Erin.
Yep.
So Erin, one of the big things about this, why you're on, I mean, of course, we have what I call our little Haslip's Corner for sports injury talk. We got some stuff going on, and people need to be cognizant of it. And I always bring you on to talk about whether it's injuries or pandemic stuff as well. And I'm gonna let you talk about that now.
Well, I'm gonna make that part brief because we got some stuff with monkeypox. That's kind of the buzz now. This is the real deal. Hygiene is hygiene. You can't replace that. You can mask up, you can glove up, you can do all those things. Hygiene is hygiene. So being aware of what you're sharing, who you're sharing it with. When you're playing a contact sport, football puts a barrier between an athlete and another athlete. There's some clothing, there's something, you can put a little bit more space between, but you're talking, these kids are touching each other all the time. Have your own towel, have your own bottle. It did mitigate some risk during the shutdown and during those online periods when the kids were just doing virtual and then coming to school for sports. It did mitigate some risk. So we can continue that. The kids that really, they made ways to get that done. There are bottles you can get donated to teams where everybody has their own. You don't have to worry about, we don't have the money at this school. Companies will give you that stuff. Number one, they want to see their brand out there. But number two, I mean, let's just be honest. They want to see their brand in your gyms. Hygiene's hygiene. And I think what's happening right now, it's not that COVID is the numbers are out of the roof or monkeypox. We went back to what people were doing before.
Yeah.
It's just taking the mask off. Let's tell the truth. You didn't wash your hands before COVID.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, some people didn't. And now, I mean, I go in the restroom, I'm like, oh, you just gonna walk and open the door? You just gonna go and open the door? You're not gonna wash? Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing now. Again, is that we're doing again? We're gonna start all over again. Yeah, so that's a big piece of that. The numbers on monkeypox are still very low in the state. And likewise, the vaccines are going to be low. The numbers aren't high enough for them to, bombard the cities with this particular vaccine until the numbers come up. It's just a numbers game. So let's mitigate the risk. And those high risk people will get the vaccines first, just like with everything else.
So the monkeypox vaccine, for people that are listening, it's available now, correct?
It is available, but it's not available to everyone. Okay. I mean, again, it's a numbers thing. When the numbers are high, if it's available, of course, they're going to make sure the healthcare providers are going to get what they need to get so they can go to work. Get them first, and then the population. So hygiene.
Okay.
Keep those. I don't like dirt. I don't want to.
No dirty nails, no nothing.
We ain't sharing stuff. We ain't sharing nothing around here. If I gotta spend extra money, we're gonna spend. If I got my plate, don't eat off my plate. I'll just buy two. It's true. Okay. We gotta have two. We're not gonna share. We just gonna have two. So.
Okay.
That's. I miss you, man.
So let me ask this: now that AAU season is over, and we're basically in recovery right now before fall league starts, what are your recommendations for right now? I mean, of course, the rest for a couple weeks, and then really get back. Some of the guys want to get back into training. So, what's your?
Well, that rest was this past week. It's a wrap.
The school just started. Yep.
School started. We're on week 2. But for some schools, they went back today.
Yes.
There may be some schools, and then in other states, they're coming online week by week. So my first thing is to communicate well with your athletic trainers on campus and your sports medicine professionals on campus. What you don't want to do is bring in a bunch of stuff that happened in the summertime and not tell them. You put them in a position where they have to cover for some things that don't belong to them legally. Like, that's not their job to take care of. But also, they'll try to fix something that was already existing, and it can delay a return to play. It could be the difference between a playoff game. Being able to be recruited. What if it was something you could resolve and you didn't resolve it early enough? So, creating that line of communication between the parent, the kid, the coach, and the medical staff. That's where I would start. Then looking at what the school schedule is requiring of you. What is coach having you do? How many workout days a week? Which days are we playing? And then do we have outside workouts? Look at that. Limit that. If you got too many things going in one day, kids falling asleep in class, we're not recovering.
Yeah.
We're not recovering. So really it's logic. It's planning it out. It's being open, having a communication. The game now is not what it used to be. Come to school, get all the workouts you need at school. School coach gonna get you right. Like, it's not saying that these coaches aren't doing a good job. They can only do so much. And the game now has sped up so much. They throw so many things at the people, and coaches have to teach and do the things after school these kids are getting workouts in outside of school and preparing outside of school. It's almost like, hey, the kids that are ready, those are the ones we got to take. And so
Right.
in doing that, they overdo. So
Okay.
that's my take on it. It's today's real straightforward hygiene. and I know don't overschedule. You know,
And that's funny you said that. That's definitely funny you said that, because now you got, quote unquote, that free time before fall league starts. Erin, in Atlanta, fall league starts in about 3 weeks, so they'll be back on it. Are you guys playing in Midtown's? I'm sorry, not Midtown. North Atlanta's fall league.
I don't know. I don't know yet. I didn't get.
Listen.
I have to check the school email. The list.
That's one of the big ones.
I know what is going on today. That's
important day, right?
Today.
And when you mention that overtraining, now you got the guys that are lifting 4 or 5 times a week. Then they're going to skill development almost every day, maybe one day off. And then, like I said, it's not really no recovery. And then they're hitting fall league. Fall league pretty much takes you right into the season.
Yeah,
maybe
it does.
A week off.
It does. It takes you right up to it. So again, my thing is really about scheduling these kids. And to Keith's point, he's at a school that is very focused on academics. And a lot of them are, but there are some that, they might be a sports school. So there's a little bit of leeway. There's a little bit of a cushion for the athletes where, during certain times of the year, they're not going to take those rigorous courses. But school comes first. You're there for a reason. This is an exchange. So it is, we give you opportunities to make money long-term, career-wise. This is what you're exchanging in the short term. So making sure you take care of that schoolwork, that's got to be number one.
Very much
That's
so.
got to be number one. And then recovery looks like when you're transitioning and you don't have as much time, it looks like, hey, can I get a foam roller and I can get some extra electrolytes? Can I do that? Simple things. You're not looking at, creating this 5-page list of recovery once a week. Let me hydrate. Let me eat right. That's not fast food 5 times a week.
Yeah.
All of those things play into it. Every time you do a hard workout, especially if you're lifting, the muscles look like this. This is how they actually line up. They rip right open. Every time. That's how muscle builds, and it fills in the gap. That gap has to come from good protein. It's not coming in, you're not going to get this. So.
Okay. And Keith, as you can see, this is my time to just observe a lot of times, because this is not my specialty, but I bring her on the show because it's needed. The education piece is so needed. So when it's not my avenue, I just sit in the pulpit and I just give offering once they done. You know what I mean?
Hey, we do the same
That's
thing. Just,
late.
there you go.
That's late. But no, I mean, Erin, in all seriousness, like, you're already making a mark in Atlanta, and most of the basketball community doesn't even know you yet. So it's not even the scary part. It's the funny part more than anything. I guarantee you, by the time next AAU season hits, your schedule is going to be full.
I believe that.
Yeah, your schedule's going to be.
I'm gonna go one up you, David. I'm sorry. Even before that, I'm sorry. By the time the high school season comes.
Yeah, because they don't know her yet. So, just off of small stuff that she's doing right now, like when Erin was here for the high school league, nobody knew. I knew her, but nobody there knew her. And part of me wanted to say, you guys have no idea who's in here right now. No idea.
Thank you.
But once they start to get an idea, I'm gonna tell you who's going to really go after you. Those private schools, they're going to go after you hard. once your name gets out there, it's just you're going to pick what you want to do. Now, always remember, my events come first because it was me that was out here like, hey, this the one. So that don't leave us, us
I got
poor
you.
folks
I don't
behind.
forget my people. That's why I had to come on today. I was like, you know what? I'm still unpacking. I'm still trying to figure out this time change thing. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Yeah,
I'm
that's
like, okay,
right.
I just need a nap. I woke up right before I was like, okay, today might not be my podcast day, but I said my fam is on here. I gotta get on here. Yeah.
She hit me early this morning. I'm like, hey, it's still 6 o'clock in the morning out here.
My
Chill.
bad. I forgot how many time zones. It's like 3 time zones over. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not just one anymore.
Trust you're not gonna, my family still do it. They'll call or text. I'm like, y'all realize what time it is? I'm 3 hours, 2 hours behind y'all.
Like,
Please,
no.
I promise I'll call you back. Is it an emergency? Okay, good. I'll call you back.
Like, yeah, I don't want to put it on mute. I don't want to block them out because you don't know. But
yeah,
that's true. But the one thing I wanted to say for both of you all, like, first of all, thank you both. I thank OB and I thank you guys as well because from a network standpoint, you both have enhanced my network. It's plain and simple, and Erin, from your perspective, Keith, I shout high academic all day, and instead of just acting like it, I bring guys like yourself and other high academic schools on as well because I want folks to understand how important it is. Now, it's not to say I don't advocate for other schools, but it just is what it is, man. I mean, certain schools are going to give you a better chance at achieving some things. It's plain and simple.
Well, like I said, I definitely appreciate you, for allowing me to come on here and be a part of this. Like I said, we've talked about it, and again, my apologies. Things came up, but I was like, okay, I have to make it. And then when Erin, oh yeah, I'm on there with you today. I'm on there. I'm on there.
Gotta be on there. I was like, oh, I'm so tired, but I'm gonna come on there today.
And man, I think
one thing you did say, David, and I just want to make sure this is important too. It's not a medical thing, and I appreciate you because you allow me to have some say that's not just medical because I've been in this game long enough to see other things. It's not just I'm only in this lane. Keith is in a high character situation. It's not just about high academics. You want to find high character. You want to find good coaches and good people that you want to turn basically your children over to. Absolutely. Now, when they come out, they're going to be men, and especially with the portal being open, sometimes they're going in men, but you want to make sure that they are surrounded by people who have high character, not high expectation, but high character, so that rubs off on them too. So we can continue to change what this landscape of sports looks like. It's not just, put the ball in their hands and they're just going to get it done. And then you wonder why they get all this bad press. You wonder why there's all this stuff that comes out later in life. And, well, they were just such a great basketball player or football, but were they a great person? Right. That true. I think is what's important when you're looking at schools.
Absolutely. And it's more than just, we understand that this is big business money wise, but like you say, sometimes character sometimes gets pushed to the side for the sake of a dollar, unfortunately. And when you're talking big TV deals, when you're talking sponsorship and everything else, sometimes some of those character flaws can be overlooked for the sake of he can get a bucket. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but accountability. Yeah, it's the game. That's what it is.
It's a game, but it doesn't have to be the only way the game is played. So
absolutely.
I just wanted to point that out. I know Keith, And I know the kind of person he is. So I know the kind of people that he would want to have be a part of whatever program he's in. I mean, you can't always guarantee it. You got some people that doesn't always work out that way. And it may just be about the stats, but
definitely.
High character.
High character, high academic. That's a winner right there. That's a winner. But listen, 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks from today, next show.
We're good.
Okay. So, as usual, I'll when I bring you on, I'll go get in the pulpit and watch you do your show. Keith, brother, as usual, man, I appreciate you. I'll be out there for the JUCO Jamboree. We talked about that September 16th. Yeah. So I'll definitely catch up with you when I get out there.
So you better
this is
holler.
my first time going to that one.
Okay, yeah, you better holler at me. Some furniture moving.
Hey, both you all, man. Thank you guys so much. Packed this show on purpose. Hey, now I didn't even know. I should have known, but I didn't even know Erin knew you. But it's no surprise. And once I said, who I was having on the show, she jumped on. Oh yeah, he's family. She went. I was like, okay, I got him. He's good. So
that's family right there. That's family.
But at the end of the day, man,
my wife I was on the podcast, and I tried to tell her who was on here. I was showing her who was on here.
And for me, both of you all increase my network, just plain and simple. You always want to have good people in your network that enhance your network, and both of you all do for me. And I thank both of you all, definitely.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Like I said, it's been great, man. Just a few months that we've known each other, and you would think that we've known each other for
our
whole lives almost. We talk, and of course, Erin, it's number love for you always.
Always. We went to the opposite ends of the country.
Hey,
guys,
my daughter's out that way, so take care of her.
Always. Yeah, you make sure she just let me know what she needs.
I am definitely. You already know that.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, Erin, we need to talk about that. I need some core exercises for DJ.
All right. Oh, you want them right now?
Get it done.
No. You can't give away the secret sauce. Can't give away the secret sauce now. We'll talk in private over that. So when they ask what happened, I can just pass out the card. Hey, you need to go see her.
I got you.
So, but yeah, thank you all
send you my
so
link,
much.
Thank you on the schedule.
Oh yeah, you tell me. We work on your schedule. When those stars, just give me your secretary's number so I can schedule my 30 minutes. It's rough out here. So, but definitely thank you guys. I definitely appreciate you guys. And,
thank you so much.
It's not going to be the last time, both of you all. We'll probably have another one. We'll probably bring OB in a couple months on. So we might as well just have a whole party on then.
Let's get it started.
Hey, but listen, you guys take care. And look, at least it's only 6:30 there. For me and Erin, it's 9:30, and I still got a bunch of phone calls to make still. Now I got to do part of Keith's job, not his job, but what he does, because I got some more out there that are getting that buzz, Keith. So, and my phone is ringing like crazy during the podcast. So I got to handle that for the next 2 hours. Erin, I definitely need to talk to you because you have September 24th.
Just give me a call when you get done.
Yeah, you have that on your calendar.
I got you a lot.
We got some other things going as well already that I need to add to your calendar. So,
no problem.
Keith, there's some stuff I need to add for streaming for you coming up as well for live streams.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate it.
Again, this is why networking works so much, because I go to one for one and one for the other. I appreciate both of you all. But we're going to wrap this show up. And, man, thank you guys for everybody that was on tonight. Actually, I've never had 5 people on one show. This is the first time I've done that. So I'm lightweight tired now because this is what 2.5 hours. So it's the first time I've done this. Maybe won't be the last, but I won't do it too often. But thank you guys again, man. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate both you all. Okay.
All right.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you.
You guys take care.
Bye.
Listen, you know, we could have sat up here and talked another hour and a half, but you know, when you're around good people, like Keith already said, it's a situation where, you know, you meet somebody and you feel like you've met them and you've known them for at least 3, 4, 5 years. And sometimes you share things in commons and then you share knowledge together and, you know, you just start to build that relationship like that. So anybody that's watching, in the immortal words of my man Corey Black, your net worth is your net worth. And whenever he said that, it always stuck with me. You know, I like the sound of it, but as I started to really realize how important it is, those two people are very important pieces of my network. And, you know, I'm going to continue to utilize them, and I'm sure they'll utilize me as well. And that's what having a good network is all about. Next week's show is going to be a good one as well. Um, I got some really good guests coming in, like always. Um, Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, as usual. Episode number 58. Man, we're getting there. We're almost at episode 60. Listen, we're going to keep this thing moving. We're going to educate as usual. And thank you guys for tuning in as always. I'm your host, David Jones with Hoops Hitting Gym. You take care.